So, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the creative process of producing art. So, once upon a time, thank you. Woo! Let's do it. This is an open discussion, so feel free to ask questions or ask each other questions or give responses to questions that other people ask. And what I did a couple months ago is I formally published a book that some people like. Some of you are here, most of you are here actually. And I have some friends at the library, and they said, hey, you know, it'd be really cool if you come and you talk about the process of actually creating a book, and especially a children's book. That was really that ask. So I know we have different attention spans here, and we have maybe about, let's say, 45 minutes of content today. Half of this content, I will tell you the story, and I have of how I made the book, and I have some early artifacts how we did it. And the rest, we will do a theatrical reading. Who here has ever been to any kind of a play or theater before? Let's raise your hands. Okay, almost everybody. So somebody tell me what happens in the play. How about you? Oh, you. Okay.
First you get a script. First you get your part. Then you have a couple weeks you are on script, and then you cut off on script, and you're just doing everything memorized.
Exactly. So very often when these kind of actors prepare for their plays or they do some kind of performance, they first find a script like a book or a story or a dialogue, and then they just it's called a reading, where they just read it to each other in roles. So this would be a great time to try that. After I do the presentation, we will each pick a character, kids, nobody over 20 years old allowed, and we will read the whole book in characters. And some of you, it'll be extra exciting because you're reading it for the first time. Some of you may have read it in the past. And that's it. So let's get started. So this is what the book looks like. Let me tell you why I wrote it. Once upon a time, I had some children, and then they grew up, and they started asking me a lot of questions. This guy over here started asking me, how do you make lemonade? What goes in there? When, do we need lemons? Do we need sugar? This guy started asking me, how much did the lemon cost? Where can we buy this? Can we buy this cheaper or more expensive? And I said, that's a great question, so let me go buy some books about it and maybe tell you how the business works and how the recipes work and things like that. And I found a lot of really good books on lemonade recipes. So I was like, that's perfect, that exists, we don't need to make any more lemonade recipes, life is good. And then I started buying books about business for children. And the problem was they weren't good. They were either way too boring or for adults or just very simple and not accurate. So I said, you know what, we can just make one. Please come inside.
Oh, I'm just with the library.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. We are talking about children's books about business. So basically, I said, I couldn't find a good book, so why don't we make one? And then, just draw up some ideas and see if you can make it into a real book. So one day I sat on the couch and I said, okay, well, what do we want to kind of capture in this book? So here I took out all of I got a business education when I was much younger than today. And I took all of my books and all of my courses, and I called up some professors and I said, hey, I'm going to make this cool book. And we went through all of the subjects that you learn in a typical kind of advanced business education. And we made sure that each main subject has at least one page to explain the concept to people, to children especially. So over here are some very early, you can pass it around, a little bit of fun, early brainstorming. I went through profitability, investments, promotion, all the basic ideas. I drew up some basic dialogue. I drew up some early sketches. So I drew a storyline, right? When you make a movie, very often people just make really quick cartoons to make a storyline. So I said, hey, I wanna do this. So I started talking to different people about it. Drew some equations about business. Feel free to pass it around. And we had a pretty good idea. And what's really important when you have a good idea, you have to test it on people. So I would go and I would tell some of the kids in this room, now they're older, because this was a few years ago, about it, and everybody seemed interested in it. So one day, this was over Christmas time, I had a lot of time. So I said, why don't I sit down and write all this in a Word document, and so I can read it as a story. And my son Marco, he approved it. He liked the story and life was good. So, but he said, reading a story is like really boring. Why don't you maybe draw some pictures with it? So I sat on the couch. I had a really comfortable couch. My wife bought it for me.
For that special occasion.
Yeah, that was really critical. So I took very simple kids' markers, and I said, why don't I make drawings, scene by scene, and all of these original drawings are here. So you can pass it around. Don't distribute them. Just keep them in one stack. Yaroslav, it's for you. So then what I did, we ended up with things like this, right? So we said, okay, let's develop some characters. So let's develop these two kids, right? One we called Kyle, one we called Mira, and then there's a punk rocker guy here that likes lemonade, and a couple on a date. So we want to give it a little bit of a colorful scene, and let's kind of base the whole story based on this. And we picked lemonade because it's summertime, it's easy, everybody likes lemonade, and nobody's going to complain about reading about lemonade. So then what I did is there's a term in business called minimum viable product. Everybody repeat after me. Minimum viable product. MVP. Who knows what MVP means? Let's start with anybody under 20. Who knows what minimum viable product may mean? Okay, anybody over 20? I'm going to pick on people. How about this guy? What does it mean?
Minimum viable product?
Yeah.
It's a product with minimal functional requirements to be viable for what it tries to achieve. For example, if you're building a lemonade stand, it will be what? A stand and a lemonade. That's it. That's minimum viable. Good? Okay.
Exactly. Excellent. This is Stanislav. If you want an adult version of this book, he literally wrote like an adult version of this book. It's also on Amazon. True story. Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to make some kind of a book that's good enough to be purchased and bought and for people to read. So I literally took pictures of these photos that people are passing around. Let's just pass it around. It's good for people to look at. And I took these pictures, I literally put them into PowerPoint. And on PowerPoint, I made the dialogue that is scripted on that page. And page by page, it started looking like this. So I took the drawings that I made over there, and then I made little word bubbles. And I made Kyle the blue and Mira all the red. And my wife is redheaded, that was the inspiration. And then there's some, the punk rocker guys still here, and these people are working out because, they need to look good. And next, when I put it all together in PowerPoint, I was wondering, okay, what do I do with it next? And so what I learned, the easiest way to publish some kind of a book is to simply, there are different on-demand printing shops, or even the most popular one is Amazon, where you don't even need to make a physical book. You can just upload something that you're proud of, and you can make it a Kindle where people can just download it and read it. So I did that, all from the same couch, and so this was it. So I said, hey, you can download it, read it on your phone. Let's sell it for $3. This was my first review, so I took a screenshot of it. I was very proud of. I think my mom reviewed it. So yeah. So and then I just basically posted on Facebook, texted some friends, said, hey guys, I have this idea. It's a pretty cool book. Take a look at it, see if you like it. And this is the next phase. It's very interesting because this is the phase where it's very helpful to have partners when you're going through some kind of a creative process, right? If you're playing music, it's very nice to play music with other people, maybe work with some composers, maybe with some audience. So I had a friend of a friend that I met at a wedding once. We were just hanging out, partying at a wedding. Very good artist, and him and I were like sitting around for the whole weekend drawing each other. And he saw this book, he bought it, spent his hard-earned $3, looked through it, and he actually was a professional illustrator who illustrated many books in the past. His name is Max McCourt. It's over here. And he said, well, this is really cool, you know, with my skills and your content that you develop here, we can really take it to the next level. And I said, cool. So it's always important not to immediately agree to every idea that anybody has, but just to kind of talk about it, think about it, maybe try out some things. So I said, hey, let's maybe draw some sketches, you know, what are your thoughts about it? And, you know, we can talk about it, also estimate how much work it'll take, and, you know, what do we want in return. So he drew some sketches. So for example, here's some early artwork. So for example, if you look at this book, this scene is kind of dramatic, right? So these guys, they don't have enough money to buy their bikes, and they barely can pay their loans. And this was a very early predecessor of this, where these people are in a different mood, right? They're splitting up the money, and they're planning their schedule and things like that. And he drew a few drawings like this, and I said, well, this is actually pretty cool, right? Because he obviously is a much better artist than I am, as you can tell. And I looked at some other artwork he did, right? He does professional, you know, portraits and things like that. So I said, okay, let's go at it. So we decided to, he came to visit me in San Diego. This guy lives in New Jersey. This drawing that I'm showing here, it's literally this one. I think this is one of my favorite drawings that he did. So I was like, hey, let's take a picture. So we're kind of hanging out here, drawing some things up, looking at sketches. I have a hat that I'm really proud of. My wife thought it was embarrassing, so she threw it away. Very upset about it.
Is it the same couch that you like? Or?
This house is so weird. This is a weird mansion of some millionaire here, and they had, I swear to God, bunnies and snakes.
And a chicken coop.
They had a chicken coop. This couch was literally, it had like chicken coop on it. So this would not be a productive place to work. So yeah, true story. So we're at a party here. We're at a party. This is why I'm wearing a funny hat. But the point is, around this time we decided that this was a good idea to work together. So we basically made a decision. We said, hey, why don't we maybe not have a strong time commitment, but at least commit to finishing it. That was like a really important step. And whatever profit we get from it, we will just split it half and half. So that's what we did. So we kind of went to work. And this guy lives in New Jersey. He doesn't come here very often. So we started having weekly phone calls. And this is important when you do work with people. Is you want to make kind of consistent communication and steady progress. Because very often I was busy or he was busy, so we would skip meetings, and sometimes. But the important part is we decided to have a meeting at lunchtime every Thursday until the book is done. So, which was a big commitment, right? Because at times we skipped meetings, and sometimes he gave me homework, I had to revise different things. I gave him homework, and we couldn't finish it. And the point was we didn't get mad at each other. We just took that hour of the week, and we actually did work during the time. I just kind of kept going. It took a long time. Closely speaking, easily 3-4 years. Yeah. It was a decent amount of time because we both have day jobs and lives and families and things like that. We took different breaks, but throughout this time, it was actually that's the part when you do some kind of work. It's really important to actually like what you're doing, because here we really enjoyed creating the storyline. He enjoyed doing the artwork. I was doing a lot of sketches, giving him ideas, and meanwhile he was showing his art to his girlfriend at the time, and I was reading the story to make it. So it was a really fun process. So we weren't kind of really waiting for a deliverable. We were kind of really having a good time throughout this whole process. So this is an example of the kind of artwork he would do, right? Where early on he would just kind of draw things with pens, and here he would take different markers and sketch things up just as an idea. So this this book here is when Kyle and Mira are asking Kyle's uncle for some money. So they're saying, hey, we're gonna spend maybe $1 on a lemonade and sell it for about $2. So just to give you an example, that particular scene, resulted here. All right, so this is kind of an early version. This is a later version. And yeah, and so next was the phase from just doing sketches and concept artwork to actually making it digital. Because these days, if you wanna really have a good quality product, you wanna make it very professional. Digital, this guy's a professional illustrator, so he knew all the tools, had all the overpriced iPads. And this is kind of what it looked like, right? He would often scan the drawings that he did, he would draw over them, sometimes he would draw them from scratch. So at first everything was usually monochrome, right? He would just make things purple or blue, just because putting color is a lot of work. And he would do stuff like this, and this gave us an opportunity to revise any text and to change things up. I'm a little bit upset about the way these lips look. Looks like he had a little bit of injections there, but it was too much work to fix at the time. But this is the phase where we really did a lot of work. So then, as the next phase, we said, okay, the really important part when you make a book like this, especially a piece of art, is you have to make it very consistent. So as you go here from scene to scene, you will notice if you look through the book and hopefully read it at home when you buy it, you will notice that like the gym is always right next to the food store, and they're setting up in front of it, and the cars and the streets and the lights and everything is very consistent, so that there's a storyline and the kids are wearing clothes and appropriate things like that. So this was kind of a almost end phase that we were in. All right, we filled in all the colors, and spent a lot of time arguing. We were trying a little bit hard not to make them look like Simpsons because they were a little yellow, but at the same time we did want to make it cartoonish. And then what was really an interesting thing that actually took a long time, but we think took the whole book to the next level, is we decided to add a narration by a professor. So this character is a professor. And the first, we wanted to make the book, the storyline goes only on the right side. Right, so these guys are making a lemonade stand, buying products, selling things, celebrating. And what we learned is different audience and kids, they really wanted a little more explanation, like what's really happening here, and why are they doing that. So I really enjoyed working with my son Marco about this, because I would read this to him and he would say, hey, that's not really clear, why don't you have the professor kind of explain it. So what we did there is we really did this character of an MBA professor who's kind of shadowing the whole thing. See, he has like a little ladder, he made a little curriculum for the lesson plan. And he's using kind of a real adult words that later we made a glossary to explain it in a very kid-friendly language. Please come in. We have some VIP seating. There's one VIP seat, and there's another one, so maybe you can move it around, or you can talk. Thank you. We're talking about kids' business and how we create books. Okay. So the moral of the story is this augmentation of the storyline by adding a professor really took it to the next level, because you can read the book just as a story without looking at the professor, and it's fun. You can read it to your kids and have the parents kind of read the professor and tell it to them, or a child can sit here and read both sides and refer to the glossary and refer to the table of contents and kind of understand what's going on. So this is close to the early stage. There was a lot of tools we used to really make sure that the dialogue is very child-friendly and understandable. For example, we found this really cool tool where you can just take the whole manuscript and you copy and paste it in there, and it literally tells you like what age level it's for. So we first put it in there, and it said like something like 16-year-olds, and we were like, no, that's 16-year-olds aren't going to read some silly comic book. So we went there and started revising different words and things like that. because we really wanted to bring it down to maybe like 11, 12-year-old level, so that when you have, 7, 8, 9-year-olds reading it, it really kind of stretches their education. So it's comfortable for them to read, and it's really kind of developing them to the next level of their life. So that tool was really useful. We just, again, passed the prototypes of the book around. A lot of people read it. They, marked things out. Talia said, you're writing a lot of nonsense, you need to use different words. So I did that. So at the end of the day, this is the book that we came up with, that you have in front of you. So the early sketch, which is getting passed around here, just to give you a little bit of a time sense, this was a while ago, right? Around 2018 or so. Right then we, around 2019 is when we really started drawing the concept artwork here. Then this, you can really see it's the same products, right? Then we digitized it by 2021, and we're close to having a final product. And then there was the hardest part here was really kind of evaluating how do you really publish it. So again, I asked some friends and asked some questions on Facebook and joined different groups. What is like the best way to publish books? So I got a couple contacts of agents. I applied to a couple large publishers. At the end of the day, we decided to do just self-publishing on Amazon for a couple of reasons. One reason is it was just, it's very scalable. For example, I have a cousin right now, she lives in England, right? She grew up in Ukraine, she had to move to England. And when she learned I wrote this book, she thought it was like, oh, that's really cool. So she said, well, can I buy it? What do you need to do? And I said, oh yeah, just go on Amazon and buy it. So she literally bought it, and it showed up at her door the next day because it was on-demand printing, right? They printed locally, different places. Meanwhile, some of the publishers I was talking to, it was a very different story. Like my father published a book, and there's this big warehouse in Ukraine, they're full of books. At one point, we had to ship a container of them. It's sitting in my dad's house. Anytime somebody buys it, we need to package it, send it to them. So there was really a lot of work. And there's different pros and cons. So here, this is very accessible for people like yourselves to just buy and get. But then if you go to the publishers, they really have connections to bookstores. So next week, I'm going to be doing a similar thing at Warwick's. It's a bookstore just down the street here. And for example, they kind of don't like Amazon. So Amazon's a little bit of their enemy, right? So they only get all of their books from Ikram books. And when I talked to them, it was actually very hard to get in there. It was like a little mafia. And they even told me on the phone directly, they said, hey, we really don't care that much about your book. We really care about you, and we're gonna need you to go around on like countrywide tours and really promote it. And my wife said, no, you're not doing that, you're keeping your day job, please stop it. So I said, okay, Amazon it is.
I can do this for you.
Yes.
I can go around the world and promote your book, I don't mind at all.
Yeah, let's
First stop in France.
let's talk about it. We'll schedule a meeting to discuss it tomorrow morning. Yeah, good, thank you so much.
I can do this all year round.
Thank you. This is the best compliment I've heard so far.
It's the watch my kids part.
You can hear that, so it's okay. It's gonna be small print.
So this is really what I wanted to tell you about this whole cycle of early idea creation, and working with partners and artists, and then having friends around you that you can show your ideas to, and they're comfortable telling you, hey, this looks bad, this sounds confusing, and you can easily be comfortable to adjust it. And when we were going through the artwork and the dialogue, me and my essentially colleague and illustrator were very comfortable to critique each other. Because I was born in another country, English is my second language. He was born in US and he was here for many generations. So he was very comfortable to tell me, hey, this is confusing, or you sound like a foreigner, you need to really market to the American audience. And that's it. So if you kind of look at the table of contents and page by page, each page here is, as I mentioned in the beginning, is literally a different topic, which is class in a typical MBA curriculum. Right, so I took a pricing class, I literally pulled up my pricing book, and I said, okay, what is the most important thing here to learn about pricing? And so let's find a pricing page, for example. So this is, if anybody wants to look at a pricing page, over here, you just, oh, you got one here. So over there, we have, the kids that are kind of understanding how much something costs, and how much margin they need to make it worthwhile, and then how much are people, willing to pay for it. So that there's different aspects that are right now are both drawn in a visual manner and explained by the professor and really understood through the story. So this was important for us to kind of go through that whole process. And that's it, and that's why we have the book. So, what do you guys think? Cool?
Yeah.
So now I figured we can experience the book in a theatrical manner. So I need a couple volunteers. So who wants to be this guy over here? Okay, how about Luca? Because he's the early founder of this project.
Yeah.
We need a girl. Who wants to be this girl over here? Ah, perfect. Good. All right. Then we need a couple more characters. I'm gonna go through them quickly. How about we're gonna have a random? Let's see. Let's find some random people. Who wants to be Uncle Bill? Uncle Bill. I think Rafi just volunteered. Rafi will be Uncle Bill. Please come to the stage. And maybe we need just one more character.
Oh, what about the professor? Are you the professor?
No, there's no professor.
There's no professor.
Professor is the ghost.
Oh. My name is Professor.
Okay, let's have like maybe one innocent bystander that's going to capture all the other lines. How about Victor? Is it Victor? Because these are brothers, so you already are represented here. Victor, please come up. So, let's give a book. Let's give a book to everybody, and you guys can read it, and we will listen to you.
We
need one more. Yeah, Victor, you're gonna be literally everybody who are not Uncle Bill or Kyle or Mira.
So the professor also?
No, there's no professor.
Are we
in
allowed
here.
to use
Professor
accents?
is a kid.
Are we allowed to use accents?
Yes, but you have to be consistent. So if you pick an accent, you have to keep it throughout the whole time.
Can you talk normally?
Yes, and you can absolutely talk normally. So let me put this away. We need a full stage here. Judah, okay, Judah, we're gonna give you a character. No, oh, Judah knows a character. Judah is the Uncle Bill.
That's Rafi.
That's Rafi. Judah, come on. You're gonna be a character then.
No, he's
How about-
these side characters. He can be like, is the lemonade fresh?
So Judah, how about you're gonna be?
Use the side characters.
You're gonna be this guy over here. You're gonna be this red-headed bearded bro over here.
So which
So
one?
Yaroslav.
Okay,
Hello, everybody, Yaroslav. He's the godfather of La Jolla.
Does everybody know who
Okay.
Wait, I know.
Yes.
Yes.
Uncle Bill's
Yeah. This guy's named
No,
Kyle.
I'm Kyle.
Okay. So what do
Rafi
we do?
doesn't know who he is.
Okay.
He's Uncle Bill.
Okay. Everybody, let's say who everybody is. You're red-headed bearded bro. You are.
Kyle.
Everyone that's not Uncle Bill and everyone.
Perfect. Exactly. And who are you?
No.
Mira.
Mira.
You can call her Maya. Whatever you like.
Ivana Mira.
Perfect. Does everybody like these contestants for? Okay, the audition in Spotify has commenced. We'll now begin the theatrical reading.
I don't have shit.
Okay, so,
Don't I start?
yeah, so I will, while we go through this, I will click through the pictures on top, so the slides so we can see it. And you guys have to take it very seriously and be very expressive.
I'll
And you have to
try.
really get in character.
I'll
Okay,
try.
ready, go.
Okay. Hi, Kyle. What are you up to?
Hi, Mira. It's such a hot day. I wish I could go to the pool for a swim. It's very far and I don't have a bike to get there.
Me neither. My mom said I will not get a bike until my birthday later this year.
Maybe we can start a business to earn enough money to buy bikes this summer.
How about we open a lemonade stand?
With this many people out on such a hot day, I'm sure they will want some cold drinks.
We can ask that gym if we can sell lemonade in front of it.
And buy lemons, sugar, and ice from this grocery store.
It will cost us $25 to make about 25 cups of lemonade. So that's $1 per cup.
If we sell lemonade at $2 per cup, we will make profit. We will make profit $1 from each lemonade sale.
That sounds like a reasonable price. But don't forget a lemon squeezer, a picture, and a sign to tell people about our awesome lemonade. We need about $50 to get started.
Maybe we can ask my Uncle Bill to lend us the money.
We will need $25 for equipment and $25 for ingredients to make the first batch of lemonade.
We expect to profit enough to return the $50 to you by Monday.
Sure, I would love to lend you $50 to start your business. I'll do my best to stop by with Aunt Sue to try your lemonade.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bell. It will be our treat.
We have lemonade, ice, sugar, water, cups, pitcher, bowl for lemons, poster, and markers to draw a sign.
Let's come back to pick up this table, and that should be enough for us to get going. We can then use money that we earn to buy more ingredients.
Victor, I think you're everybody else here.
No,
Hey, Victor, you're...
I'm not Uncle Bill.
Oh, yeah, Uncle Bill. Yeah, you're Uncle Bill. That's right. Uncle Bill's in there.
Uncle Bill, you're
Another lemonade, Susie. Thanks, Bill.
Let us know what you think.
You weren't supposed to be just thanks, Bill.
Is this lemonade organic?
absolutely. And here is some water for your puppy.
That was a fun day, but after returning $50 to Uncle Bill, we only profited $40.
We will have to do this many more times to save enough money for our bikes.
How about we do this again next weekend? I enjoyed meeting new people in our neighborhood.
Okay. Man, there's a good work. Good thing we always have a lemonade stand nearby.
Hydration is very important.
He's right. Are you thirsty? I think so. You always know the right place to invest your money, Bill.
Thank you, Susie.
Good to see you again.
Warp speed, engage.
You guys sure make a lot of people happy with your delicious lemonade. How are your bikes working out?
They're great. Now we can spend more time relaxing at the pool.
That was a great idea you had about starting a lemonade stand, Mira. Maybe we can start another one in the future.
Thanks, Kyle. It was fun running a business with you. Absolutely. I have many more ideas we can try.
Okay, so, just excellent, guys. One more time. Thank you for the actors. Everybody, so before we go, let's just have and the actors are not allowed to answer. We have to have everybody else answer. Maybe let's just talk about a couple things that we kind of learned from the story that you thought was interesting. Anybody learn anything new? Anybody have any ideas about what kind of business they may start? Or is there anything that you thought was kind of really interesting about this whole starting a business process? Yeah, Victor.
I have a question.
Yes, my dear.
What if you don't have anyone to ask for money, or you want to start it without anyone lending you money because you want to profit without lending anything, without giving the money back?
That's a great question. Very, very
You
good.
don't have enough money to start the business?
Who wants to answer that? Yes, Rafi, come on.
Maybe I think to make sure you have the money to first give it back to them before like just getting the ingredients or something like that.
Possibly like trying to find some materials around the house to use.
Okay, good. Magda.
If you really want to invest in a business, you have to think ahead of the time and maybe save from wherever you have. Too good idea.
Any more ideas?
How
Yes.
about kids? I'm sorry.
Could you like maybe try to try to minimize
But you know, we sometimes get money from them.
Minimize what?
Try to minimize what you need so you don't spend as much.
Exactly. All good ideas. Anybody else? Da.
Yeah, you can borrow money from your friend, and you can make some agreement with your friend that you will pay back maybe some of the property.
You could like borrow money and from like your parents and like not like return what you borrowed.
Good question, right? So in summary, there are a lot of places, Victor, where you can borrow or have any kind of investment. For example, the most simple type of way to get money is just to go to a bank, right? And then they often have some kind of a collateral. For example, your house. Let's say if you can't do it and pay them back, they take your house, which is bad and risky. If you have close friends like Uncle Bill in this case, there's the concept of interest. Actually, a very good question. So earlier in the story, when they were when I wrote the story, when they were borrowing money from Uncle Bill, they were actually talking about that he's lending them $50 and he wants $60 back. But then I had a friend of mine says, you sound way too, East European, very cynical, please stop. But I really needed to communicate the concept of interest. So he's not giving them money for free, right? He's giving them money because he thinks they're nice kids, he believes in them, but he wants something in return. So what we see here is Kyle said, thank you very much, Uncle Bill, it'll be our treat. And so later, whenever they're running the actual lemonade stand, see, if you notice, Uncle Bill is always hanging around the lemonade stand with this very attractive significant other. Her name is Susie, and so for him, this is his return on investment because he's not getting money back, but it's a nice place for him to spend time. He appreciates being an investor, and he's always getting lemonade for free. So he's always hanging around with Susie here. And he's look at this. He's here again, same lady, very very committed, and always getting lemonade. So this is an example.
He's a lemonade lover.
Yeah, and so the point is that there's many ways. The moral of the story here is there are many ways, Victor, to get people to motivate to invest in you. Maybe somebody just wants a project to be a part of. Maybe somebody just wants money back. Maybe somebody wants to work with you, right? Because they need a job and they need a way to make money. Or maybe somebody just wants some free product and a place to hang out.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Is it legal to just, get out of your house, set up a lemonade stand and sell it in California? I heard they passed a bill in California which allows it to do it legally. So cops will not actually go after you if you do that. So, do you know anything about it?
And does anybody know?
Also, YouTube videos.
Yeah, Luca.
No.
Okay.
Is it legal? Like,
Does anybody know an answer? I don't know a good answer. Yes,
I
Julia.
think you should just ask for a permit. If you're gonna
But
make a
then-
business or something, like a permit.
no. Well,
So, well, okay, yeah, very good, very good. We thought of that. So what we did here is, if you noticed, we asked for, when they were exploring the different places where they went to set up the lemonade stand, they actually decided Where is it? They specifically
Wait,
asked.
it was on that last one.
Which one? Was it there? Where are we here?
There.
There we go. We can ask the gym if we can sell lemonade. So the gym is, it has the right permit to sell, their protein shakes and bars. But they don't have a lemonade supply. And the gym is smart, so they realized if there's a lemonade stand in front of them, it'll attract customers. So what they did is they made a strategic partnership. Everybody repeat after me. It's strategic partnership. So that over here, look at all the business that the gym is getting, and look at all the attention. Because look at this. These guys are selling lemonade here, and look at all these gym guys happily hanging out there, and it's attracting a lot of attention. But it's still on the property of this gym, so that's how we circumvent the permit requirements of California. Yeah, but the short answer is I don't know the good answer, and if you want to sell lemonade in front of this library, I've got some contacts here, so think about it. Good. So I think that's really the goals that we had for today, is really talk about how to create a book, do some theater. Yes?
According to the California Homemade Food Act, individuals who make and sell certain types of homemade food, including lemonade, can operate without permit as long as they meet following conditions. The food must be sold directly to the consumer, and the total sales of the food must not exceed $50,000 per year. You're all good kids. So you can sell it. You can sell it.
So there's something you guys need to expect when you're talking to a guy who works in different kinds of businesses. Always at the end of his speech, he's going to ask you to buy something. That'll always happen. So if you liked what you read and you think it'll be a good gift for some friend or a party favor or something, you can take your phone and scan this QR code, and it'll be a link to Amazon where this book is for sale for about $10. And it'll be cool for you guys to have it and use it and refer to it in the future, or maybe give some to some friends, and we appreciate it. So if you need my contact information, this is me. This is if you want actually really good quality portraits done in the style of this book. This guy's main work, he gets money. He does a lot of portraits. For example, the gym that he drew, he has a membership where they give like the best guy who goes to the gym a portrait that this guy makes. So this guy, they have this subscription for him where he does these really cool portraits to the gym. Anyway, so the point is, if you want some kind of a Christmas present or a portrait of somebody, this is the guy, Max McCourt, who does really good job like it. And don't take his word for it. This guy looks just like me. So that's what he does for a living. Yes.